Rahim. There was a Muslim king by the name of Nizam al-Mulk, and he had started a series of Islamic schools around the country. This is primarily in the area that today we call Iran and Iraq. These schools were called the Madrasa Nizamiya, and they became very quickly renowned to be the highest level of Islamic education that was available anywhere in the Muslim world. And they became the major seats of learning, especially the one in one city called Nishapur. It became the head of Islamic knowledge in the whole Muslim world. Now, the king sent his prime minister to take a look at what was happening in these schools, what's the level of education, and what are the children really there for? What is their objective? So the minister went and started visiting, and during his visit at Nishapur, he randomly went to students who were walking around, sitting, playing, eating, and asked them, what brings you here? And what would you like to study for? So someone responded that I'm here to learn so that I can get such and such position in such and such government department. Somebody would say I'm here to study so I can get such and such a job. Somebody would say that, well, my father is currently holding such and such post in the government and I would like to have a post similar to his. And like this it went on. Keeping in mind that the Islamic schools, the institutions or universities at that time, they also taught what we call today as worldly knowledge. It was combined. So you kind of had to learn both. When the minister saw all of this and he heard these repeated responses, he became very much discouraged and disenchanted, saying to himself that this is not why we opened up these schools, so that people could acquire the knowledge of deen and then go and look for jobs. So he was saying to himself that I'm going to give my recommendation to the king that we close these schools, because there are many schools from which students can get worldly knowledge, and those that are coming for Islamic knowledge are coming for the wrong reasons. So it's not a worthwhile investment for us. Just as he was about to leave, he saw one student sitting in a corner, busy reading away. So he said, okay, let me ask this one student also, so that my survey is complete. So he went up to the student and he said salam. The student didn't pay any attention. He was lost in his study. When the minister drew a bit of attention to himself, so the boy said, yes, okay, what can I do for you? He didn't even look up. What can I do for you? Can't you see I'm studying right now? So he said, I just want 1 minute of your time. So he said, okay, what is it? He said, I just want to know why you're here, why you're studying here. So the boy responded by saying, well, that's pretty easy, isn't it? We know that there is absolutely a creator of this universe, and we also know absolutely, logically, that he would not have created all of this in vain. So we need to look for that knowledge that's going to teach us the way of how to spend our lives here. Because if this whole world has been made for a reason, then there must be a way of fulfilling that reason. It wouldn't be left up to us. So for that, we need the knowledge that was given to the Prophet ﷺ. We need the knowledge of hadith. We need the knowledge of Islam. So the obvious reason for studying here is so that I learn my purpose in life and I learn how to fulfill it. There's not much else. So the minister thanked him for his time, and then he walked away and said, I've changed my mind. As long as we have even one student like that, who is studying the knowledge of deen so that they can learn how to spend their life properly, it's worthwhile having this school. That student, by the way, grew up to be known as somebody we all refer to as Imam Ghazali. And he was another one of those great giants of Islam who was raised by a single mom. But his determination in his knowledge of deen, in his acquisition of deen, took him far above the people of his time. And it was not just his knowledge and his piercing intellect and genius, but it was also his dedication, his love, his passion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another incident that occurred while he was studying and coming back home, his caravan was raided by bandits. And the bandits were just looting everything. And when they came to him, he had a kind of a chest, a case in which he had his notes. And these notes were basically word for word dictations that he had taken from his classes that he had been taking over the years. So he had a lot of those. And the bandits, they kind of forced it open, and he said, please, this is all I have, don't take this. And it's not going to be of any use to you, but for me it's my life. They said, what is it? He said, well, this is the notes that I have taken, it's the knowledge that I have accumulated over so many years. And if I lose this, I've lost everything. So they started laughing at him. They said, what kind of knowledge is it that it's in the paper and it's not in your heart? If it was knowledge, it should be inside you. But apparently it's not inside you, it's inside your papers. They said, we don't know what you've been doing all these years, but it would have made more sense for you to actually bring it inside. So this message of these bandits, and they ended up leaving the papers because they did actually have no use for them. So this was a big wake-up message for him. He said, wait a minute, they have a point there, that all the knowledge is in these books. So what do I have inside? Not to say that he didn't know any of it, he absolutely knew all of it, but he felt that if he lost it, he would lose his knowledge. So he went back and spent the next few years memorizing everything that he had put down on those papers. So there's much more to the life of Imam Ghazali. Even after he became one of the most renowned scholars of his time, teachers, lecturers of his time, there was still this burning desire inside him to be somebody even better. And that is another story for another day. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us also the correct intention in acquiring this knowledge and enable us to acquire it for the right reasons in the right way.